Rampage.
Well, I guess we're going to find out as we do jump into the champ select for game number 1 of day number 2 of the International Wildcard Qualifiers. Rampage taking on Albus NoX Luna. Straight away, we see the Gangplank ban, Bard ban, Brand ban, no surprises there. Of course, on the other side, it will be the Sivir and the Rex. I'm just waiting on the third and final.
Yeah, of course, Brand, Bard being banned away shows a lot of respect to Lecrit. So we'll see whether that is justified. You know, yesterday showed that it was, and looks like the last ban is going to come through. And he's going to be Nah.
Yeah, not surprised to see the Nah here, when allowed through that ban phase, can completely just take over a game. There is literally no one, I think, that can stand toe-to-toe. Maybe Echo, but in the end, it just doesn't really work out for them. But Rampage hovering that first pick Jhin, maybe want to take it away, and they do, locking in the Jhin immediately. So taking a page out of Albus' book there.
Yeah, that's really a cute pick away. I mean, we keep talking about how potent Jhin is at the moment. You know, has good siege potential, if not turret taking potential. So see whether they're able to make that work. Has left open a plethora of mid lane champions, however, Talia being amongst them. Kira already played Vladimir yesterday as well. I don't think he's going to be too worried about Vladimir. I mean, historically, he has been able to play things like Anivia into it. Talia does fine as well. So like the pick ban phase, if that is what they're going for. 2 big global ultimates already.
Well, that's the thing. We saw Shen banned quite a few times throughout yesterday's games, and he's going to actually fall through the cracks here. But that's what happens when you're forced to waste 2 bans on the support. The top laner kind of gets his cream of the crop here, and it is going to be Shen Talia locked in for Albus.
Yeah, it certainly is. As I said, those 2 globals, being able to play towards side lane, being able to play towards bottom in particular, especially now that they have seen the Jhin. This is a very similar plan to what the Chiefs wanted to execute on against Albus NoX Luna. So really interested to see whether, you know, ANX can actually execute on what is a much more difficult game plan.
Well, that's a great point, because it's kind of playing into the strategy that they already know how to play. So surely they will have an idea of what is kind of the straw that breaks the camel's back in that strat, and we'll have some plans up against it. We'll have to see what Rampage do to kind of round out this lineup. We saw Nidalee yesterday being first picked by Chaos Latin Gamers and didn't really work out for them. So I don't know. Personally, I don't find her a very good jungler at the moment, especially when you have the likes of the Lee Sin that they know to play, but going to be locking it in regardless, and maybe following it up with the Kench.
Yeah, I think that the difference between the two, right? Nidalee's a little bit better early game, but Lee Sin at least has some CC in his kit with that big kick. I do think that, you know, we already saw that they're, with Tussle's willing to get ahead early and then ride that momentum, and no one's really better than getting ahead than Nidalee. She just farms so incredibly quickly, and we already saw, you know, even though KMV lost that game yesterday against INTZ, there was a lot of early game pressure that was put down onto Tokkers. So I think that if they can replicate something like that here, Rampage, especially against the Talia, and, you know, maybe stop that shove, it's going to be a good news story.
We'll have to see whether they can deal with it and punish it early, or maybe Tussle's just going to go off like the last game he played, because that was an absolute beauty to watch. So really looking forward. His skill shots were on point, so not much different chucking a spear than chucking a Lee Sin kick. So we'll have to see if he can be just as on point. But the Kench as well, so they're going to have that little bit of safety for the Jhin. They know he's a mobile champion, so being able to pick him up, take him where they want. But see if Albus answer here. They're hovering over that Taric and the Ashe. Should be locking that one away, and they are. Yeah,
that's a really potent combo right now. Taric Ashe, a lot of CC coming out of the bottom lane. You know, the ability to dive turrets now is definitely on the table. I mean, Lecrit, if he can play it well, can stop majority of the initial damage of a dive. You know, they have Kira there to be able to cut off the retreat with the Talia. All of a sudden, it looks like they have a really good pick, a really good team fight coming together for ANX. And, you know, we'll see whether Rampage is able to answer in any way. You know, Maokai's already been played against, and once it didn't look too successful.
Yeah, I don't know about this Maokai. It seems to just be kind of the band-aid fix to these good top laners that we're seeing, like the Echo, like the Shen, and people, instead of thinking, okay, I got to beat out this guy, I'm just going to go with the Maokai, I'm going to throw down my W on the carry, chuck down my ult, and it's all going to be all right. But Gangplank was banned away, so they don't really have that global pressure to match the Shen, so I guess if they can kind of stop him teleporting, maybe that's
or follow.
Enough.
I mean, he does a really good job when he can follow teleport to Maokai. Of course, it takes a little bit longer to get through now. However, you know, he also farms relatively well against the Shen. Shen is so good at punishing auto attackers because there's just windows where you can't trade with him. I think that Maokai is still one of the best solo tanks in the game. You can see that they're running a pretty tankless lineup, unless you count the Kent, really, who's going to be responsible for running away with the Jhin at certain points in the game. So, oh, wow, the Graves coming out of PvP Chaos. If anyone ever watched the last IWC, this guy, big fan of that champion. We'll see whether he can make it work this time around.
Look, that's exactly right. When Graves is in the hand of PvP Cedros, it's a whole nother game. You think you know what an aggressive Graves looks like, but you haven't seen anything yet. So very excited to see him pick that one up. And of course, Rampage also getting himself that mid lane Malzahar. So you said it was an interesting pick and kind of curious, but it looks like it is a recurring trend here.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, I do like the Mel still. He has such an efficient item build and the ability to lock down one person. Also guarantees third item QSS out of the AD carry, which puts them behind in item power. So there are a lot of good things there, especially because they went the Kench before they picked up Malzahar, and that was seen kind of as a stock standard, I guess, counter to it. So will be interesting. But, you know, it's funny that these are the two players to watch from the Brazilian end, because we said the exact same thing. I mean, Tussle, Jungle, whether he can get ahead on the Nidalee going to be interesting. And now Lecrit playing a very different kind of support here in the Taric over the Brand. See whether he can make it work.
Look, and that's just the kind of the star quality of Lecrit. If you can play both the hyper-aggressive Brand and kind of the super safe Taric, then that just covers all bases for your team. So it's really good to see him have that versatile champion list. But of course, like you said, on the other side, Tussle went off on Lee Sin. Let's see if he can do it again on Nidalee.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they can. Of course, there's the hashtags on your screen, guys. Use Go ANX, Go Rampage to see what's going to go down there. But, you know, big game for the Japanese lineup. We keep saying this. But every now and again, a team breaks through, and Japan's been doing it lately, and wonder whether they're going to take that next step, become one of the elite IWC teams.
Look, there's not a lot of teams that could say they can take a win off this ALX squad, so it's going to be very impressive if Rampage can do. They took a big win yesterday off Saigon Jokers. Everyone thought that was kind of going to be a whitewash here, but Rampage, the dark horse of the competition. Last time it was hard random, this now ALX squad, so they know what this position is to be like with everyone doubting you. So let's see if Rampage can kind of pull some more upsets here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see whether Rampage can get it done. Albus Luna Nox, you know, they're a very classy lineup. They're very good domestically. They had a hard-fought finals, but, you know, looking to see if they can come back into some form in the IWC. As you can see, players getting ready to get onto Summoner's Rift. This is one of those games that, you know, could go either way, but you feel that early snowball is the easiest way to for Rampage to run over the top of this one, especially when you're playing things like the Nidalee, like the Maokai. That should be pretty much a free top lane gank there if they ever want to get in. Two non-auto attack users should be able to punish a Shen quite hard early.
Well, that's a great point to mention, because with all that damage reduction that Shen has, it all just comes from denying enemies the ability to auto-attack. So Maokai and Nidalee, they don't really care about that. And another easy lane, once that Malzahar hits level 6, that's just the free spear onto that. The execute should surely follow. So it's really going to be, like you said, if Tussle can kind of snowball this early game and Albus can't deal with it.
Yeah, Talia is like much harder to gank just because she's never in the damn lane.
True.
I mean, all she does is really throw out a threaded volley, get down the pebbles, and, you know, run away, kind of surf through the river for a little bit and look for some openings. And Kira's a very good mid laner for wave manipulation. It's one of the things that he does the best. I mean, I used to love watching Kira versus Seros from Detonation. Focus Me back then, as we do have a little bit of a pause, because they're both very good at not getting ganked in that mid lane.
Look, that's exactly right. And when you have that type of lane manipulation that comes from being an Anivia one trick back in the day, surely that techniques do translate to a little bit of Talia, because that's one of the reasons that makes her so strong, is it's you just push the lane, go into Fog of War, and then they have to respect the ultimate.
Yeah, exactly right. Or, you know, you can hold the lane as well, and you can look for a lot of pick potential out of, you know, that seismic shove. So I do think that Talia's kit a lot more versatile than people really think. You know, great wave clear, great anti-siege, but also a heck of a lot of pick potential and good team fight. So, you know, we'll see whether Kira is able to make it work. He's one of the best in the business at these IWCs. And, you know, really showed that yesterday against who is a good player in Swiffer, but, you know, couple of solo kills made him look not so.
Alrighty, guys, we're getting into game number 1 of day number 2. We got Rampage taking on Albus Luna Nox. This is going to be an absolute bloodbath. If these guys had any indication of how they played yesterday going up against each other, it should be all-out aggression. But on this side of Rampage, they've got the Nidalee, so they really need to make that happen. But, of course, they're going up against Graves, the king of aggression. And you mentioned
Whoa, not anymore, he's not. I mean, that's a lot of damage. He's also just gone Strength of the Ages. Normally we see Graves, at least internationally, go a little bit more Thunderlords-esque. See whether you can get some early pressure down. I mean, SOFM's very famous for what is, I think, a 3680 Rampage and just runs at people and shoots them. However, you know, couple of grasps as well on supports as well as... you know, top laners. So we'll see how this one works out.
Yeah, forced to recall after that one. That should give Tussle a good chance to maybe get some wards in to just kind of spot out the early path. But looks like it will be standard starts for everyone. But said just maybe a little bit late, may get there just in time. But
yeah, he'll be fine. Yeah, he's not going to be behind. So, you know, cops a spear early. Not really all that much doing. We'll see whether he's able to keep up in speed. Looks like he's not starting on a red buff. Against Nidalee, it's normally wise to start on a big camp, but looks like he's starting on the Krugs. See whether Tussle can punish that with some tempo advantage.
Both of the bot lanes going to be taking their respective jungle camps, so getting a nice early 2 quite early on.
Ken should do that quicker. I mean, he just swallows and spits it at the other one, you know, able to get a lot of damage down. You can see they are heading into the lane a little bit ahead of pace. And you can see Stejos there on your screen. He's going to farm completely safe. Now Kira cheekily wants to pick up the third as well. It looks like, just dances around a little bit, but does grab the CS advantage in the quicker level 2.
Yeah, look at that. Just completely pushes out of the lane, immediately goes over, takes some of the jungle camps there. So already showing the cheeky Talia tech here. 13 CS to 4 already. Of course, a couple of them are jungle minions, so padding his stats just a little bit here.
Yeah, but only 2 jungle minions. I mean, he's nearly on perfect CS. He's only missed 1, whereas Roki's missed a couple in the mid lane. So getting quite heavily punished for this Malzahar pick. You do normally start W on Malzahar, as it looks like we're going to have an invade over onto the blue out of Dara.
Licorice making his way back just to show presence of mind there to ensure that the Kench can't get in completely uncontested here, so he is going to back off after dropping a ward, but Sejoti doesn't mind. He's just going to do his blue buff knowing that everyone is in vision.
ANX kind of eyes light up. They're like, is it going to happen again? Do we get another free 4-minute fight against the team? In the end, it is going to be Rampage backing away. I respect that decision. They have a good scaling comp. Just let yourself get there. Don't fight too early. And it looks like Sergio is going to be able to pick that up, but you can see already Tussle heading towards the top side of the map, has complete awareness of where the Graves is, and they're going to think Tussle's on the bottom side. You have to think. So this might open up a little bit of a gank towards the Shen.
We'll have to see Shen's well over that halfway mark, so both of the junglers just doing their scuttle crab, but Tussle, he's going for maybe the long ploy here, going all the way around the back, but Stejos, he's running the marathon up to the top lane.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's going to stop at Raptors, however. So, actually, he's not. That's really interesting. He's going straight toward... No, he's going towards Raptors. So that's good.
Okay.
Kind of knows that Tara's on that side of the map. However, Paz and Smurf, they're having a little bit of a brawl here. Nidalee's going to come in.
Yeah, we're going to have to see what happens here. If the spear can land, going to be applying that red buff, but Paz is quite low. The flash comes out early from Smurf. Is going to sidestep the spear. Might be in trouble, though, but they have no vision on Stejos, so forced to respect the fog of war.
Yeah, they certainly are. However, still great early awareness to be able to go into that top lane, get the gank down. We already mentioned it, that this is going to be one of those lanes that is at least early able to be punished. So good job from Tussle. We already said we respect his Lee Sin. Now showing that he can get it done on the Nidalee as well, even though he missed that spear.
So just looking for a little bit of maybe an invade here. Going to decide against it in the end. Down in the bot, of course, Merritt and Dara. Finding it a little bit difficult to find anything here, but of course Jin and Tom just want to scale up. Even CS as well, so great stuff out of both these bot laners.
Yeah, it certainly is. You can see Kira keeping his circles nice and close together as well. This is really nice Talia play, making sure that he can shove at will, bouncing the waves to appropriate spots, but also making sure that if a gank comes in, he still has room to get down maximum damage. So you can see much more practiced on this Talia. Interesting that he went with the heal instead of the ghost. Really makes me think that he is worried about the Nevergrass coming out of the Malzahar, and you can see that tempo advantage has been gained for Tussle. He's about 5 creeps up, 2 camps in the lead over Stejos there.
Keep in mind, Smurf didn't have to waste his teleport to get back to lane, but did use that flash early on, so not going to have that summoner spell available. That could mean that Tussle, now he's gone back and bought himself the challenging smite here, could maybe go for a return gank back in the top.
Yeah, you would expect it to go back up there, especially given, you know, as you said, very successful early pathing. He's also pushing one more time. Something that, you know, Shens don't like to do. It's kind of curious that Smurf got himself in that situation because it's actually quite hard. And you can see that he actually just has to back one more time. He actually hasn't backed yet, so he's going to back and probably teleport in. But that's, yeah, you just don't want to be that shoved up in the lane. Did Kira spot him then?
No, I think he's just putting a pink ward down to prevent exactly what just happened. But Tussle, one step ahead of the game right now, is going to be able to sneak in completely unawares. Might actually just leap over in here, but they actually find each other. Both swap spots, trade places here.
And it means Tussle's actually going to pick up that pink ward straight away. So that's really nice awareness out of the Rampage jungler. Honestly, Rampage are doing very nicely in this early game. They fell behind in the mid lane, but that's been recouped by Roki. And now all of a sudden, this top lane has got a significant advantage because Smurf didn't want to teleport back. As a Shen, you generally get the liberty of an early teleport because you have the ultimate to go other places.
Curious decision-making out of this ANX squad, but once again, the jungler is going to be meeting up.
But Sejos isn't level 6. He's only level 5. Needs to make sure he respects that. Does pick up a cheeky steal, but it's going to run away. And now, all of a sudden, Tussle has the location of the CIS jungler.
Let's see if Kira, making his way down, is level 7, so has the Weaver's Wall available. Going to get spotted out, so no one is in the bot lane for Rampage right now. So just using his presence to incite fear into the enemy at this stage.
I think it was a little bit more that they want to control the bottom lane river, and you can see Lecrit pops in. He gets a deep ward as well. So it's more right now about controlling exactly where Rampage's bottom lane can be, making sure that they do have the heads up to be able to make those aggressive plays. In saying that, they gave up a lot of control on the top side of the map, and it looks like Tussle wants to punish that by going for a little bit of an invade here, but doesn't have the timing right, does have to back away.
Yeah, so just not level 6 yet either, but still, he knows he can't fight that one, especially when Talia is the first on scene. Mal's just getting some pink wards down. Gonna just leave that ward to time out instead of wasting his time taking it.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case. You can see that they've pinged it out, however. So once again, tempo advantage right now is in Rampage jungler's hands, but he hasn't really found a window to make it work. Stayhorse at the end of the day, still going to be a Grave, still going to be a great team fighter as the game progresses. So Tussle really does need to start getting active, you feel. Want to see what build he goes for, if it's going to be something like the Rylai's Crystal Scepter, or whether he goes towards a more old school build of something like the Rower.
Good ward placements by Lecrit, spotting that one out and avoiding the pink ward as well. So good stuff coming in here. We saw Roki did get his early blue. Blue only just spawning for the side of Albus, though.
Yeah, you can see that Paz is actually making this top lane Maokai work. After one successful gank, he's up about 2 creep waves. Really has been trying to bully out the Shen, and because he's continually pushed in and he hasn't been able to pick up that Barmy Cinder, means that he's not able to answer the shove and really teleport anywhere else, even if he would like to.
You mentioned a great job of Kira. Just every time he's off the map, this bot lane has to respect that. And it's causing them to lose CS here. And every time they push up, they're still under threat of Liquid, just walking out with the Dazzle and stunning them up. They do have the Kench, who is able to get Marin to safety should it occur. But that still, they don't want to even risk the trade, essentially.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, we're having a look at Kira CS. He's still extending that lead now. Marin did the right thing. He let the lane reverse into him. He was actually doing quite well in CS. Ashe is quite an obnoxious laner. You can see Marin's doing a good job of, just keeping him at bay.
That's exactly right. Liquid just going to be healing up any of the damage that Miracle does take. So pretty stagnant lane in the bot lane, but that works out well for Rampage because Marin, he's going to have just that raw damage. And if the ulti ever
play
comes
onto
down
Kira.
Miracle, Kira, he might be in trouble. There's a flash ultimate, not going to get it off in time. Chooses the malefic visions of the ulti. Maybe mistake, he does end up getting the Nether Grasp in time, but that's going to be Smurf ulting down to try and save him. Tussle, he can't seem to find the execute. The stun comes in, the taunt rather. Tussle gets bonked backwards, but it's not going to matter as Roki with the malefic vision takes out first blood.
Yeah, really nicely done out of Rampage. We said they needed to make it work. They go for a lane gank. Now all of a sudden, big pressure in the bottom lane. Lecrit's in trouble.
Yeah, the teleport is coming down from Paz. It is going to cause them to back on out. Stayhos, he might be in trouble. There comes a curtain call looking for someone. Can't find the first one, but Tussle does get a kill on Smurf. Trades it in the end. Dara, he's looking for Paz to get on in the mouth. Not going to happen. Comes out. Can he get the slowdown? Is going to get stunned in the process, but what a bloodbath already.
Yeah, and they go for the turret dive even though they don't have the Shen ultimate. I do think that it is a massive massive mistake. In the end, it's going to be a good trade for the jungler of Rampage. You can see top lane up 20 CS, doesn't really mind that the Shen has a kill, and now the Nidalee is accelerated with that assist, with a kill, and we'll see whether Tussle can continue his dominance of this tournament.
Look, great stuff. Heads up play from Rampage, utilizing that ultimate on the mouse to take out Kira, and it was looking bad when he wasn't able to hit it, but here we see the fight between Tussle and Smurf.
Yeah, Smurf just caught napping there, and, you know, gets challenging Smite, gets leapt on, and does end up falling down to what looks to be... He just flashed on top of him.
Yeah.
That was strange from Smurf.
Looks like he just thought he was done, tried to go for the trade, but in the end they go 1 for 1 here, so the trade does come in. Rookie.
I don't know if he dies there if he doesn't go for that trade. So, you know, interesting decision making. Now he does have the Balmy Cinder, so we'll see whether he can push out. Paz is going straight towards a Spirit Visage, so, you know, a little bit more defensive feel there, but can still wave clear out with the cooldown reduction.
Yeah, has the double Dorians as well, so a little bit of ability power allowing him to clear out that backline of minions with a Q and an E, so going to be able to kind of contend the pushing power that Smurf with the Balmy Cinder does do, but Stayhost hasn't really found a position in the map just yet. Tried to go for that bot lane play, but like you said, without Shen being available to either teleport or ulti in, it's just going to be a straight 3v3 once Paz gets down there.
Yeah, and that's what happened, really. So Paz, and he was a much bigger turning point than what Stejos was, so interesting decision-making there. And they're looking to keep tracks on the Nidalee with some good deep wards still. Credit to Stejos, he's still trying to control the river. He's picked up a lot of scuttle crabs and really is doing a good job in that regard. Now mirroring what could be a gank.
And keep in mind that Roki is not level 6, but he does have the ultimate available to him, so should they go for the gank again, we'll be able to lock down Kira once more. But you got to commend the Albus squad. They've done a great job of keeping that ward just out of pink range vision over to the right side of mid lane. So
now Weaver's wall being pinged out, all of a sudden, you know, disappearing into Fog of War. They had 4 members down there, but they don't decide to pull the trigger because, once again, Rampage respected and Tussle goes for the cross-map play.
Stayhost back in the mid is going to get spotted out by that ward, so the junglers once again meeting pass here, but both looking for the gank on the mid lane, and rather, but Kira in a world of hurt. 4 men in the mid lane can't find a way out of that one. The spear cleans him up.
Yeah, really nice play there. I mean, they get the ultimate in from the Tahm Kench. Stayhost now needs to be careful. Does pick up his red, however, because of an early smite from Tussle. However, now probably needs to retreat, as you can't really fight the Nidalee.
Looks like Rampage going to be making their way back down to the bot lane here. Tower took a big chunk of damage. Remember, the first turret bounty hasn't been taken by either squad just yet. So, of course, Albus, if they see a big presence in the mid, they're going to want to make it Rampage punished elsewhere on the map, but unable to get that first turret just yet.
Yeah, so we'll see whether they're able to get it done.
Dara getting stunned up here. Good trade, but remember, it is the Kench, so going to have that innate healing should he not use the Grey Health. But
another turret dive coming in. I mean, this time they do have the Shen ultimate. However, still need to be careful as Nidalee's heading down, as is Taliyah. Everyone actually party in the bottom lane, it looks like.
Paz's TP is almost off cooldown, so if Rampage can kind of stall this a little bit longer, might be a good fight for them.
Yeah, it certainly could be. You know, they've also got Tussle running across. It looks like they just will wall them off from the turret and pick up that first structure bonus, so it gets them back to equal. But, I mean, when you pick up 650 free gold pretty much for a turret that was guaranteed to go down, and you're still only equal, it's not a great thing, Rogi.
Well, Dragon has been started by this Albus squad. They do have the positional advantage here. Kenchi's he's quite low mana as well on to Marin. Going to be using that ulti straight away. Miracle hits him with the enchanted crystal arrow, so interrupts the channel on that one. There is Roki. He's going to get taken extremely low. Avoids the stun. Somehow teleport making his way in from Paz. There is the ultimate from Lakrit. It hits 3 members. They're completely invulnerable right now. Now Paz in a world of hurt, forced to flash over the wall. It's a straight 5v5 for this Dragon. He's still alive, but it's looking bad for Rampage.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't looking great for Rampage, but it wasn't looking all that good for ANX either. I mean, they're the ones ultimately that backed away because the Joy Lane hadn't even joined. I mean, Marin's just sitting bottom farming stuff. So, you know, good heads-up play out of Paz to get in there nice and early. It means that they don't have the teleport advantage anymore, and Smurf's going to be able to TP down one more time. However, big CS lead still in the top lane, big CS lead still in jungle, even everywhere else. You still have to like what Rampage are bringing to Summoner's Rift right now.
Look, that's exactly right. And we know when these guys are playing on even, they are able to eke out leads where they can find them, because Speaking of even, is quite even. Only a couple hundred gold separates these two teams at 15 minutes in the game. 3 kills to 1, of course, favoring Rampage, but ANX, they were able to get themselves that first turret bounty. So a lot of gold in their favor. Neither team able to pick up that dragon as we saw the fight prior.
They've actually put the Shen into the bottom lane. I don't like this play at all because all of a sudden Lecrit's face checking and Tarmkench can ulti in.
Oh no, Lecrit, he might be in trouble. Is able to get the Razzle onto Tussle, but now he's completely split up for the rest of the team. He's quite fast on that Taric. Does have the level 2 boots as well as the tenacity, so he's going to just straight gloriously walk his way out of there.
Yeah, so he's able to get out, but now the question is, can they defend the turret? You can see that Graves is in the top lane. Smurf is going to continue to push bottom with the Sunfire Cape now completed, is a lot quicker, and it looks like they will finally just back away. Little thing, Miracle going for the good build. So if you go BF Sword into the Hurricane, you're able to pick up IE instead of having to go something like the Essence Reaver. I just think it does more mid-game damage. Really don't like Essence Reaver as an item all that much anymore. Really has kind of fallen out of favor.
Yeah, people just valuing the kill potential rather than that constant mana sustain here. And you can see why with recent results, people picking up that IE second just seem to deal out so much damage when those crits come on through. But
also means if there's a pure tank, someone like a Maokai, you can get that third item Last Whisper in there. You're not forced into a third item IE. You can also get some lifesteal, or, you know, maybe even look towards a QSS if you feel it is necessary. Of course, there's not all that much CC this game, but in certain games there are. So just gives you that flexibility in the build that the Essence Reaver first really didn't used to give you.
Looks like we're backing not to standard lanes, but standard in terms of lane opponents, but on opposite sides of the map here. Lecrit and Miracle up in that top. They were able to avoid a very big attempt on their lives here. Here comes the ultimate. Tussle making his way in, but there's Taric ult to answer. They are going to be invulnerable here, but Marin not going to find anything off that one. So trying to look for a catch with the curtain call, but the Taric ult negates it.
Yeah, it does negate it, but, you know, that's still a trade of an ulti, and, you know, Kira now looking top lane. I really like the way Marin and Dara has played this lane because, you know, we already said when you got double immobile against someone like a Talia, you do have to be careful. And you can see that they've really respected the pick. They've given up about a 16 CS advantage, but when they can, they are playing aggressive at the same time.
Oh, Marin just going to get straight stunned now. Dara hitting by the ulti. Hathka flash in. A nice double taunt coming in for Smurf. This is huge. Smurf picks up that one. Here is Tussle now, but Stayhost making his way up now. There's the wall just to make sure that Dara has no way of escaping. That's 5 members strong for Albus in the top lane.
And just as I say they're playing carefully, all of a sudden Marin, for no particular reason, runs back through the lane. He should have gone over the wall, Rogi. There was nothing he could do there. Means they will grab another structure in their advantage, as well as about an 1,000 gold lead, as it looks to be traded on the bottom side of the map from Paz, but he didn't have teleport. He couldn't follow.
That's exactly right. They are going to pick up the Rift Herald as well, and they try to answer with some damage in the mid lane, but Kira gets back there first, and that's just the wave control that Talia offers. There's really no way they can push her out here.
Yeah, exactly right. So in the end, it is going to be about 1,000 gold as all the dust settles. Kira will rotate. He'll pick up what looks to be the bottom wave. Actually, he's just going to leave it. Rift Herald for Mountain Drake, that's a pretty okay trade, especially given that Shen's not really going to be bullying the Maokai anytime soon. So Rampage at least have some answer, but a couple of needless kills really in the top lane.
Hawkshot just comes through to confirm their suspicions that Rampage are taking away that Mountain Drake. But now, once again, Rampage, they were looking quite strong, but they have fallen behind a little bit. It's very reminiscent of their series against the Saigon Jokers, where they would find these small advantages, but like you said, play a little bit careless with their lead, and it ends up costing them, because one team that you cannot play careless against is Albus NoX Luna.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you can see that all of a sudden in the mid lane, Kira's going back. He's grabbed himself what is a complete Morellonomicon. He already had that QSS.
Yeah, up in this top. They're really trying to force this tower down. It is quite low, as we can see the health. Less than a quarter at the moment, but Kira...
One more time, it just opens up the roam. So Kira's going to be able to look to get up there. Wall surfing as a whole is just so much quicker than walking. So, you know, he's going to be able to make that work regardless.
That's the thing, right? You don't even need the ultimate to roam. If you're next to a wall, you get that massive increase on movement speed here, Tussle. Just going to be doing the Crab Baron spawning in about 10 seconds. We've seen it be a major point of contention for these wildcard teams all yesterday. And maybe not straight away, but they do normally use it as one of those strategies here.
Yeah, they certainly do. And you can see that top lane, they're still looking to force. Although now maybe Stayhouse looking to get in and really impact Roki. Although Roki's going for him.
There's the Ghost. Does get his passive proc. Stayhouse going to be forced to quick draw himself to safety. Tussle not going to be able to land the spear, but Roki's been doing a great job of using this passive to keep himself safe. There's a curtain call up into the top.
Teleport going as well.
Anyone? Licorice going to be slowed up, but he's not the target that they want to be hitting. Here comes Paz. The ultimate from Licorice immediately does not prevent the CC, but that also means that Shen can get the full channel of the shield. And here comes Kira in the fight. This is looking terrible for Rampage. They're being absolutely destroyed. Forced to flash over the wall. There's the enchanted crystal arrow, followed by the dazzle. Paz falls, Dara falls, and Albus get a massive lead.
Yeah, and Licorice and Kira one more time. Licorice with that nice ultimate, I mean, guarantees the Shen delivery system. Then Kira splits up the team fight, gets a perfect seismic shove. And, you know, Rampage, they looked good early game, but now it looks like Albus NoX Luna really starting to take over in this mid game.
Yeah, look at that. They're grouping up as 4 in the top lane. Seho's in the mid, just going to be pushing that one up. And is anyone from Rampage going to be able to answer this one, trying to get some damage down? Not going to happen. The Voidling's the only one to try to defend this tower at the time. It is going to fall. So another structure down in favor of Albus.
Yeah, exactly right. All of a sudden, it's a 3,000 gold lead. So they're starting to build. A lot of that is the structures, but it looks like Rampage, as soon as they go to siege, just get caught out. You can see big gold advantages in the AD carry position specifically. It's about 1,500 gold just between the AD carries. Honestly, the gold lead is just the AD carry support combo right now. So we take another look at this. You know, Tahm messed up his ultimate a little bit. The crit, he tanked 2 of the shots and dodged out of the spear, then got a really nice ultimate here just as Paz is going in. That probably should have been the call to disengage. Instead, they cut off 3 members. Roki can't do anything in this fight. I mean, Tussle's busy jumping the wall, and Paz does ultimately fall down from a great arrow.
It's constantly Rampage are the ones kind of pushing the fights into a Taric ulti time and time again. Licorice, he just pops that, and that should just kind of, to me, be cue to say, all right, that's Taric ulti down, we can just back on off, go for the fight again. But they always seem to overcommit. Shen comes in, they can't damage the shield, so Licorice's got basically double his normal health pool.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, I mean, it's kind of infinite for a little bit because it just doesn't go anywhere. But you can see that one more time, they're shoving this top wave into Miracle or Licorice. They're pretty much just getting CS delivered to them at this stage. Really is an interesting position that Rampage are in because they want to be proactive, but there's just nowhere on the map to do it. Maybe they look for some global plays with the Tahm themselves and, you know, try and gank out a Shen or something that's pushing in. But realistically, right now, they're just losing out big on farm and big on turret objectives.
Yeah, really impressed by this Albus NoX Luna squad as they seem to have covered all bases with their composition here. Every time that Rampage try to make a play, there's so many things that just go wrong time and time again. But looking across at some of the builds here, you can see they nearly picked up the early Frostborn Gauntlet here. Yeah. Trying to use that one. There's the Weaver's Wall down in the mid. Couldn't actually catch off Roki. He was forced to ghost to safety, though.
Yeah, and, you know, now they can start pushing in one more time. You can see Tahm is going to ult to try and save this turret. Brings Meron with him.
Mm-hmm. Spear's not going to land.
No spears landing, really. And that's what this combo is all about. I mean, getting yourself that big poke damage out of Meron, out of Tussle, and then being able to siege out these turrets, but it's just not working because none of the pokes landing beforehand.
Yeah, they can't seem to find anything, and that's how they should be initiating these fights, because it seems when the curtain call comes down, it's only really being used for the slow effect. The damage is abysmal when the targets are on full health.
And, you know, at the start of the game, that's actually one of the better ways to use curtain call, in my opinion, to just get the slowdown, you know, be able to chase them down, get the guaranteed fight.
Sure.
Especially when you have someone like an Italy. I mean, she's going to have so much follow-up damage if the target is slowed. But Tussle just hasn't been able to get in there before the Taric ultimate comes down, so it's not really working out in his favor. Now, PvP Stayhouse is going to find him.
Tussle might be in trouble, is able to pounce over the wall to safety, heal himself back on up. 35 seconds to this next dragon, and it hasn't really been a point of contention for these teams, especially with the Cloud Drake being the next one up. Rampage kind of just taking it as a reactive play, a second thought, once Albus were able to get that Rift Herald in the top.
Yeah, but it looks like they do want to fight for this one. I mean, they've already rotated Paz into the top lane. He has teleport available, so it looks like, you know, they're going to be bringing people towards it. Not an optimal back timing out of Tussle. Generally, you want it back when your support is in base. You saw before that, realistically, he was going for a Gromp steal when that was happening. So, you know, 2 seconds, he's not going to be on the map. Although now Kira may be in trouble.
Can't seem to find a tag on the curtain call. Does get that one, but Roki's already decided against it. Goes back in, actually might be able to find their kill here. The snare not going to land, and it seems that the smoke screen's enough to deter him from going full aggression.
But Roki actually didn't go aggressive there. That was incredibly strange. I mean, looked like a huge miscommunication as Miracle dodges out on another arrow. Tussle, these need to start... Spear. These need to start hitting, my friend. Although Kira now with ultimate back available in base, I don't even know if they have time to do this dragon. See whether they're able to get it done.
I think they do here. They're going to try and burst it down immediately. Paz has already made his way down to that mid lane. Smurf has the ultimate available. They do get the dragon, but at what cost? The fight is going to start. There's the ulti onto Cedros, but the ultimate from Liquid is already down in the back. Paz, he's found Miracle. He's looking for this one. Tussle, he's in the fight onto the Graves, but gets bursted out immediately. Dara forced to use the Devour. Now Liquid doing what he can to keep himself alive. Not going to happen.
Here comes
now
Weaver's
Smurf,
wall.
He's in trouble. He's getting hurt, but Paz and Dara completely split off. Merrin,
Merrin.
a beautiful flash taunt from Smurf completely changes the tide of the battle. A double kill for Stayhoss.
Yeah, great flash taunt there out of Smurf. Stayhoss is a big beneficiary of that. You can see the team fighting prowess coming out already, but a good Weaver's Wall out of Kira. We said, he's going to be late, but can they really afford to start off that dragon? They trade pretty evenly, but the priority onto Lecrit. I mean, I understand that you want to take him out. He's a pretty good player, but time and time again, it was just Tussle trying to assassinate him. It wasn't really working for the team.
Yeah, Paz, he was doing all that he could in that backline on the tanky Maokai, but when the Weaver's Wall came in and split that fight, picture perfect for Albus, considering that they were the first to lose a member.
Yeah, and now I'm just confused because even though Miracle went with the Hurricane first, he still went with the Essence Reaver, so... That's all right, but looks like he's going towards QSS as well as Last Whisper. That's why you generally would go IE, just because, Essence Reaver, you don't really want to have those things. But let's take another look at the fight. I mean, good initial ulti onto Stayhoss, but he's so tanky at this stage of the game. Paz, really 4 members on him, but Tussle just going aggressive there. I don't know whether it was worth it because, whilst Lecrit falls down, Tussle lost half of his health. And then 3 members caught on this side of the wall. Merrin had both summoners available and didn't choose to flash over the Weaver's Wall. That's a huge mistake from the AD carry. So really, micro mistakes everywhere for Rampage in that team fight. I think Tussle's target prioritization was pretty poor. And then Merrin just face tanking a Shen was an interesting decision. I think I'm going to call it and leave it at that.
And somehow Lecrit just being able to corral 3 members around him for the time being.
Well, that's what I said. They have this strange obsession with him because, you can run past a Taric. He's not all that disruptive at this stage of the game. I mean, he has a stun, but once that was out, you can just ignore the guy. Instead, focus him through the ulti and then into the end.
Oh, Curtain Call has been used this time onto Stayhoss. He's going to be able to quick draw himself to safety. The spear is doing less and less damage as more magic resistance comes through. And looking at that build, he's got himself the Phantom Dancer as well as a Hex Drinker here. So he's feeling good just about his survivability right now.
Yeah, he certainly is. I mean, he's that kind of bruiser build. He's going to go towards the Black Cleaver as well. You can see that Tussle's still making the Nidalee work. I mean, he's still incredibly active around the map, one of the highest levels. Is farming up nice and good. But at the end of the day, as you said, not a heavy AP build. Once again, more of a bruise in Nidalee. Isn't really working out for them. Looks like they're now going to put some priority on the Baron.
You can see the pings going down. Remember that Albus, they are ahead about 4,000 gold at this stage. Rampage really struggling to get down some of these structures. So a lot of the gold is still static on the map that Rampage can pick up, but they have to respect the Baron threat.
Yeah, trust me, they're ahead. They're not that ahead, Rogi. So we'll see whether they do actually respect that. Stayhoss, quick draws out of the way. Maybe mid lane turret finally going to go down, but a good Weaver's Wall cuts them off.
Been using them to a very good effect. You can see constantly either it's to secure towers or defend own or split the fights. Kira seems to have mastered that ability and all its versatile uses.
Yeah, 100%. He's sitting on the QSS, but apart from that, pretty even in the item build, honestly. Has really been the utility so far out of the Talia that's made it work. Roki is starting to come into his own, however. He will have what will be the Burning Face soon, and as soon as he gets that, goes towards something like a Void Staff, going to be pumping out a lot of damage in these team fights. So the scaling potential is definitely still there out of the Rampage lineup. They just need to stop making these little mistakes during the fights.
Well, that's the thing, right? They have the damage and the utility, but it's the target selection that seems to be the prominent issue for these guys, is they can't get that onto the right targets. And now with 2 QSS built for both the carriers, Kira and a Miracle, it's going to be even more difficult. Yeah,
it certainly is. But, at the end of the day, we keep talking about this. Hex Drinkers had to be picked up by Stayhoss, as well as 2 QSSs just to deal with Roki, because otherwise he's going to one-shot someone. So all of a sudden, that gold lead that you do have sure, it's useful, don't get me wrong, but the damage that's coming out of both teams is reasonably similar. They just need to go towards quicker void staffs, I feel. You know, I don't really like the fact that there's an Iceborne Gauntlet running around on an Italy. Really would have preferred, you know, a little bit of penetration coming out on something like an Abyssal Scepter. But, you know, you can see that there's one idea coming out of Tussle that's I'm going to leap on your face, I'm going to be able to do lots of damage. And these guys will actually not kill each other. I actually think that, you know, they will live forever.
Just the concentrating, the magic sap, healing Paz, the just damage negation that Shen can do. He's starting to... there's one clear victor this far. I doubt they're going to kill each other, but you can tell that Paz has to respect that. And with all this magic resistance that has been built, it kind of opens up Meren to be the true carry of this Rampage squad.
Well, that's the idea, right? Is now Paz getting caught off.
We can hear the Weaver's Wall coming down. Not going to find Meren. Does get stunned up as well as Dara. Luckily gets picked up immediately. The ulti going to come down, only stunning the
Kira
Kench.
in
There's
trouble.
the curtain call. Kira might be in trouble. His team just going to body block any of that potential incoming damage. And once again, Rampage can't seem to find their way into the fight. Roki frontlining here. Goes for the ulti down onto Lecrit. Immediately gets taken away. Good ulti from Lecrit. Going to be immortalizing 3 members of the team, but now they're in full retreat. Here comes Tussle. He is quite tanky. Paz, they've gone in once again on Lecrit, just flashing on top of this Taric. They need to kill him. They finally do.
Miracle's
the chase
caught
is
off.
Still going. Miracle, he might be in trouble. Forced to sidestep back into the team. Where is the snare? Fancy Feet avoids that one, and the Kira zoning potential of those threaded volleys and the pebbles allow them to get to safety for now.
So in the end, they once again really overcommit onto the support, and Lecrit is just so damn tanky that no one else falls. And they might even be able to defend the turret. Looks like they're going to give it a crack. No, in the end, backing it away. So 2 turrets will fall down. Rampage back within a couple of thousand gold. Finally, the first really good fight coming out of this lineup.
Yeah, Rampage just forced that one time and time again. You think, all right, they've wasted their cooldowns, they've wasted their summoners, they're not going to keep going. Then all of a sudden, there comes Roki just flashing for the Malefic Visions on the Taric to keep the fight going on. And I guess you got to give props to Kira. He did use some great zoning threaded volleys there to keep the entire enemy team slowed from really catching up there.
Yeah, he certainly did. In the end, however, that is going to be the Burning Face picked up there, of course, Leandri's Torment for the Malzahar. And I think that, you know, as far as damage output goes, Roku going to now skyrocket. So looking forward to seeing if Roki can really get around the rest of Summoner's Rift. Also means that Baron potentially on the cards because he does it so damn quickly now.
Look, those damage over time effects, the Rylai's Crystal Scepter combined with the Malefic Visions and the Burning Face is just going to be so much for these guys to deal with. Tussle is able to take out that ward quick smart here. But once again, Smurf just threatening this bot lane.
Yeah, it certainly is. So let's take another look at this. So in the end, Weaver's Wall gets interrupted. Meren comes in, but is eaten up by Dara and actually taken bodily to safety this time. And, you know, right here, it looked like Kira was in trouble, but the whole team came back and body blocked, although Smurf now caught.
Yeah, forced to flash.
We've seen this once before. I think it was from the Chiefs, and it resulted in a Baron picked up.
Curtain call being used. No Baron pings just yet. Doesn't seem like they're in position. Paz doing a great job of locking him up, but he's so damn tanky. There's the Deadly Flourish, gets the snare, and Meren trying to make his way on in. Already used the Ghost Blade for the movement speed. He is going to get the shutdown gold, though. Great stuff from Rampage.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you said it back best. You know, the fact that he had to go towards magic resistance means that this flat penetration build coming out of the Jhin is going to be able to chunk him out. Now Miracle steps on a trap, so his location is definitely known.
Not going to find the snare with the Deadly Flourish, though. Now it's a 4 versus 5. Shen does have the ultimate and teleport available, so it's just basically his death timer before he is really useful in this fight.
Yeah, it certainly is. You can see that Baron looks to be the priority at the moment. Kira's still just surfing around.
And they really want to make sure that they deny all vision from either squad here. Just having to use those far side orbs, it's not optimal because it's really easy to deny the vision, but no one really wants to face check, especially when there's nothing. And it looks like the Baron has been started from Albus. Teleport coming in from
That is
Smurf.
A brave call. All of a sudden, it's being responded to, and you do not want to group up against what is a Malzahar composition. It has been walled off.
Meren completely out of the fight. Can't find his way over the wall, and that's going to be the Baron to Albus. But can they make their way out? Looks like they want to fight. The taunt not going to land onto Tussle. He's quite a fast Nidalee. He's going to be able to get himself to safety.
Still not so sure about this one.
Liquid using the ulti, only hitting Kira with it now. Paz trying to find the backline. Kira does have the flash available. Should be able to get over the pit. Tussle, though, caught out. Gets taken down immediately. Now it's Rampage who are on the back foot and have to run. The Rylai's Crystal Scepter doing work. The flash stun onto Roki Dara, able to devour him to safety. Stehos, he's in the front line. Taunt comes on in on through onto Dara, but Paz keeps him safe for now. Oh no, Marin gets bonked back into the fight. Now Paz in the firing lines. This is a huge victory for Albus.
Yeah, it certainly is. In the end, it is a 3 for 1, as well as a Baron being picked up. Spells going everywhere after the effect. However, in saying that, that was a really brave call. Great Weaver's Wall out of Kira one more time to deny any form of retaliation. Now they're going to look to push into the base.
Roki, he's got a lot of damage, but if he can get it down, that is the question. You can see the Shen is so tanky. They are able to get those initial shots in. There should be a free inhibitor with those Baron-empowered minions. No contest.
Yeah, certainly looks to be the case. You know, Roki, he was trying to clear out waves as best as he could, was actually trying to continue the fight. But when your front line just falls that quickly, once again, got to question what Tussle was doing up there on the left-hand side of the screen. It was a very interesting call out of Rampage. You could see they wanted to fight, but they just couldn't execute.
That's the thing. They couldn't get anyone into position. And once again, you got to give props to Kira's Weaver's Wall. They have been on point. But as the dust settles, 10 kills to 7. But the gold lead now, not that far ahead as what we're used to seeing. It's always been about 4,000, so about 5.5 at the moment.
But the important thing is that the base has been broken.
That's
so,
it.
you know, even though it is only a small lead, let's take another look at this. So Tussle, he runs up to the top, and they kind of disengage off him here. You know, they're turning around, but he sticks around, and he's still trying to continue the fight. But it's a 1v3. I mean, he's completely caught off from the rest of his team. There's a ward in that brush, arrows in the face, flashes in a straight line. Never flash in a straight line, guys.
No, it's just immediately taunted up afterwards now. Albus are going to start laying the siege down to this mid lane tower while Smurf has free reign of the bot. Stand United available once again. The wall comes down to kind of prevent the defense of this tower. Ultimate comes through to kind of block off the curtain call. Not going to happen though. Good damage down onto Miracle, but does have a sustained support to keep him topped up, and that just gives Smurf more than enough time to amass a massive legion of minions down on the bot.
Yeah, it certainly is. So he's going to be able to push that one through. Looks like they're still wanting to fight in this mid lane.
They need to do something because they have no answer for Smurf right now.
Yeah, exactly right. But mid lane, it's so low already, it's probably going to fall down. It looks like they're going to answer Smurf. Just leaves this turret to be absolutely destroyed. So, you know, bad decisions everywhere right now for the Rampage lineup.
Taunt comes through in onto Paz. Look at the damage that Stehos himself is able to put out. A few auto attacks from Miracle in here. Kira, level 18 now.
That is such a big creep wave. 3 cannon creeps right now in the bottom lane. The push started at the tier 2 on the opposite side of the map, and it's falling.
It goes down with very handily, if I don't say so myself. Those cannon minions just doing work, and there's no way that they can deal with it. Good damage onto Smurf. Tussle looking to go in there straight into the entire team. Forced to use the Zonias. There's a Tarek ulti now. It's time for Albus to return the favor. Damage in onto Paz, but he's low on mana, so can't really do too much. Kira, he's quite low. There's Paz in on the fight, denying all auto attacks, though. Kira gets the kill. Stehos, he's in on it. Kira does go down, but Tussle soon to fall. Smurf doing a great job of frontlining for this team. Roki doing what he can to try and pick anyone up, but as much as a Malefic Visions burn, Tarek can heal it all back up.
Yeah, he certainly can. Now Roki's in trouble. He still hasn't got his Void Staff, and you can see that they're just chasing him down. Great stun there. Smurf's going to pick it up. In the end, this looks like it's going to be Albus NoX Luna's game.
Look, great stuff from Albus NoX Luna. You've got to give props to Rampage. They did a great job of keeping up throughout the entire game and often getting themselves ahead here and there, but in the end, it's Albus Luna NoX taking a very commanding victory after securing that Baron, securing the next few fights. Great stuff out of them.
Yeah, so Albus NoX, as you can see on your screen, a little bit more, you know, questionable about that one. Never looked like it was really in doubt, but, you know, you've got to give credit to Rampage because they certainly had an impressive early game one more time. And you can see the crit on your screen there, Kira, as well as Smurf. That gives them some things to think about because, you know, once again, they got a very good draft. I think that the biggest thing for me was Stehos is still a good Graves player. His late game damage was really there. And the decision making from Rampage was good, but the micro play, you know, time and time again, they were just getting outperformed slightly in these little mini skirmishes and big team fights. And that's just about, you know, not being able to perform the same level as what the CIS team can.
Look, and they looked very strong throughout the entire game, but like you said, it was these small mistakes that eventually the snowball rolled and turned into an avalanche, and by the end, there was really nothing they could do about it.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, they had opportunities. The Dragon fight where, you know, the AD carry, Marin, didn't flash the wall. Both summoner spells available and he dies. But in saying that, they were able to pick up the first blood kill here, Roki, doing a very good job of chasing Kira down.
hits that silence at maximum range here, and you can see they were able to find slight opportunities here, but
this is the fight I'm talking about. So all of a sudden they go aggressive. So Paz on the back line, really chunking out Miracle. Tussle, Stayhos, like they've just got such split targeting. Everyone else is on Lecrit trying to kill him. And then a great Weaver's Wall comes through from Kira in a second right there. And Meron double summon a spell. You got to be able to flash that wall, mate. But instead Smurf gets a great taunt flash, burns down 2 members. And, you know, from there, just means that they can't get any advantages. That should be a winning team fight. That should be rotation into the mid lane turret instead. Not going to be the case. And then this is, of course, a big Baron fight where Tussle, kind of on his own, just gets destroyed.
It seems that he just wanted to keep the fight going, but in the end, they just had enough to burst him down without any way of rebuttal. Sayos flashes in, does get the stun, and you got to really commend the Taric pick here. It worked wonders for them throughout many stages of this game.
Lecrit's just such a good player, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, really do have to compliment his champion pool. I think the Chiefs were right that you just can't ban this guy out. His Bard's definitely his best. You know, dealing with the Brand versus dealing with the Taric, both of them looked equally frustrating if we're going to be brutally honest. So I think that this is something that, you know, you take a look at and you think, you know, maybe we have to hit someone else's champion pool because Lecrit's just pretty damn good.
Look, keep an eye on this guy because I want to see what else he can bring to the table throughout the tournament, because hopefully someone's got an answer for this guy, or else there's really no way that CIS are going to find any trouble.
No, I completely agree. He just pulls them out of the metaphorical, you know, every now and again. And you can see Roki, he was trying to get it done, but he just didn't have a Void Staff, and everyone had stacked such heavy magic resistance because, you know, Meron was never a real damage threat. But it just meant that, you know, ANX in the end could just run over the top of them.
Well, that's the thing, right? Whenever the fight started, it was Rampage trying to look for a pick here, but you can't be a damage threat when you're doing no damage, and that's exactly what Lecrit was enabling them to have as a utility spell with the Taric.
Yeah, and, you know, he had really good timing on the Taric ultis. Every now and again, you see a Taric and you're like, this looks horrible. It's just not working out at all. You know, the ultimate just isn't coming through on time. But Lecrit, every single time, you know, was able to absorb the majority of the upfront damage that was coming out of the team. You know, get the Shen in there time and time again. That was really crucial early game. And, you know, I think that the CIS, they take great confidence out of this because Rampage looked good, but they just look better at every turn.
Look, and once again, the CIS, they come out extremely strong, but we're going to go to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.